Schiffer Publishing and Schiffer Audio present The Real James Bond, a true story of identity theft, avian intrigue, and Ian Fleming. By Jim Wright. Read by Rafael Corkhill. For Elby, Corey, Patty, Lily, and Lucille. Introduction. A spy is born. The name of a man is a numbing blow from which he never recovers. Marshall McLuhan, Understanding Media. This is the story of the most notorious case of identity theft in history. Long before Ian Lancaster Fleming became a best-selling author, a single-minded Philadelphia ornithologist named James Bond wrote Birds of the West Indies, based on repeated expeditions to the Bahamas and the Caribbean from 1927 to 1935. The 480-page book, published in 1936, featured black and white line drawings of birds by noted artist Earl Poole. It quickly became the must-have book on the subject. Fast forward to early 1952. Fleming was starting to flesh out his maiden 007 novel, Casino Royale, and needed a name for his imaginary secret agent. As he would often do when inventing characters for his books, Fleming simply lifted a name from real life. He looked at the distinctive white dust jacket of Birds of the West Indies on his bookshelf, noted the author's name in capital letters, and took it. James Bond. Period. No middle name, not even a middle initial. Just 9 purloined letters. A spy was born. Along with Sherlock Holmes and Harry Potter, British secret agent James Bond is one of the most popular fictional characters in the history of both publishing and movie-making. Joined by an array of femme fatale and such villains as Dr. No, Mr. Big, and Auric Goldfinger, Ian Fleming's legendary 007 continues to flourish nearly 70 years after the British thriller writer first put pen to paper at Goldeneye, his winter home in Jamaica. A key part of Bond lore is how and why Ian Fleming stole the naturalist/author's name for his fictional spy. Since then, the tale of Ian Fleming and the real James Bond has developed a life of its own, gradually accumulating embellishments and inaccuracies, beginning with the oft-repeated assertion that Bond gave Fleming permission to take his name, and that Bond enjoyed the fame. In fact, Bond grew to hate the 007 connection, even as his wife Mary did her best to promote it. And although the appropriation of his identity caught Bond by surprise, there is a long tradition of ornithologist spies, including at least 7 of his contemporaries. Some people have even speculated that the real James Bond was a spy as well. The mythology of James Bond will no doubt continue to grow, but its origins should be rooted in fact. Today, the genuine Bond is known mostly as an asterisk to the 007 phenomenon. He has become fodder for trivia questions. What was the first film to reference ornithologist James Bond, whom Ian Fleming named the character after? And crosswords, such as this clue from the January 10th, 2016 New York Times puzzle. Across 42. Ornithologist James, of whom Ian Fleming was a fan. Bond deserves better. From the 1920s through the 1960s, he took more than 100 scientific expeditions to the West Indies. These were the days before jet airliners and online booking services, and he would travel to the Caribbean for up to 9 months at a time, living on a shoestring. The seasick-prone Bond went from island to island on tramp steamers, canoes, and primitive sailboats, in his efforts to collect and describe specimens of the birds on each island. Bond's fieldwork resulted in his celebrated 1936 book, Birds of the West Indies, one of the first of its kind. It helped introduce the world to such exotic creatures as Cuba's bee hummingbird,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?